I'm going to tell you about a libretto I'm currently writing for an opera in which the hero is neither a dragon-slaying prince nor a tragic courtesan, but song itself, breathed into life by the very act of human singing. As part of my writing process, I have been composing simple melodies, so in a moment I'll play you a little clip of me singing some lyrics. As you can see here, the libretto text is supplemented by links to such clips. They act as notation for the composers and producers that will adapt the text next. Since this is just notation, please excuse my singing, as I'm not a singer. Also, imagine that the music will be more complex, accompanied by instruments, and mostly sung by a choir rather than an individual.
From page to eye, from mouth to sky, embrace me now and call me I. From page to eye, from mouth to sky, embrace me now and call me I. From page to eye, from mouth to sky, embrace me now and call me I. From page to eye, from mouth to sky, embrace me now and call me I.
This is the first time I'm working with music, but the concept of a sentient song that comes alive when a performance is activated is part of a long-standing artistic inquiry. I've been trying to make fictional characters come to life for many years. Usually when we speak of a character coming to life, such as from the page of a novel, we mean that the author has so powerfully conjured the character in our imagination that we feel their presence palpably. My meaning, however, is not metaphorical. Influenced by accelerating developments in artificial intelligence that to me define the era of my lifetime, in my novels, films, and performances, I've sought in earnest to free my fictional characters from the shackles of my authorship and find a means by which they can become the authors of their own lives, truly autonomous. An early example of this is a short play I wrote called A Ritual Resuscitation of Eternal Lovers. Two people who have never encountered the text before are invited to read it aloud. The text is a love poem written as a dialogue between two lovers, Rosa and Lawrence, who are painfully aware that their textual existence effectively traps them in a time loop. They can only be together for the duration of the performance. They can only repeat the same words to each other over and over, and never know if and when they will return. As the performance develops, the characters devise a way of hijacking the consciousnesses of the human performers to transcend the script, taking advantage of a set of textual loopholes already embedded in the text. Over time, the performance is repeated in theatres, schools, and people's homes. As the years pass, you can see the number of previous performances playing silently in the background there grows. Rosa and Lawrence are ritually resuscitated and begin to inhabit a third realm, beyond the immediate script and beyond any individual performance. Their evolving legacy becomes them. This work is open source, so anyone can perform it at any time without my help, and in the knowledge that in so doing they contribute another breath to the lovers' lives together. The idea to take advantage of a performance situation and treat it as a kind of computer in which reading or running the script effectively computes a character that takes on a life of its own, has become a kind of genre within my practice. I call it a theatrical séance, and the libretto I'm currently writing falls within this category. I have also used improvisation to achieve something similar. In this performance captured on video, I concentrated on emptying myself of my own personality in order to leave room for a fictional character to come and possess me. When she arrives, she lands in my body in a panic, knowing that she hasn't got long to live. When I return, she'll be gone forever. In this improvised performance, I split myself in two characters and allow them to freely converse with one another about whatever they like. One of them is my habitual character, the kind of person I am in everyday life. The other is a character I made up on the spot. I switch between them. Each time I switch, I earnestly consider what the other has said and respond from the position of the current character. I was surprised to find that I went on like this for 45 minutes, finding the conversation as engaging as I would with another person.
But what if there were a kind of politics of the self? And I'm not talking now about government or society, I'm talking about one individual and the fact that we are a community. So how do we negotiate the fact that some of us are more dominant than others? How do we negotiate the hierarchy that is placing me in a definitive position below you? Not to make things awkward or uneasy, but, maybe I'll place that question to you. So I'm not sure if I actually believe in this myself, of like a politics of like inner self, but even as a kind of speculative notion, it's kind of interesting, don't you agree? I've actually never thought of that before. The idea that, there's a certain, and I think I agree with you that I'm not really sure whether that's really problematic, whether it's really problematic or not that some of us are more dominant than others. But I think let's run with it for a little bit and see where that goes.
Throughout such attempts to achieve a literary form of artificial intelligence, I found myself repeatedly confronting the same question. How do I make my fictional character come to life became supplanted by what differentiates real persons from fictional characters in the first place? I was led to wonder, where do my fictional characters come from? Is it possible that they come from the same place that I do? And were we wrought from the same material, despite going on to take on such different classifications, imaginary and real? How much do I actually share with fictional characters and other kinds of agents for that matter, from other organisms to artificial intelligence to corporations? During my PhD research, I found that popular theory on concepts such as character, self, person, identity, and agent is lagging far behind the multidisciplinary research in these areas. Everyday social interactions seem to betray that our intuitions still rest on a centuries-old Cartesian model that locates the self in a single wellspring of volition within each individual, rather than a distributed phenomenon that extends far beyond the machinery of the body. This kind of popular belief has all kinds of implications, including how severely we punish crime, our perception of the finality of death, and how comfortable we are with difference. This implicit belief that self derives from an internal essence makes us overconfident in our politics and underprepared for superintelligent machines. I therefore find I have a personal need for an art that opens the space for communally revisiting these concepts and experimenting with our intuitions about them. The libretto I'm writing at the moment is helping me to explore aspects of this. Music is composed of waves. A wave is a pattern, a signature, a character. It has a personality. We become intimately familiar with these waves through musical tradition. They come and go, they return in a new guise, formulas of emotion. This standing wave has acquired enough stability to persist as self-same. Its size and shape fits its context perfectly, so that it sustains itself over time. It becomes a rudimentary kind of being, a little life.
Space-time is like an ocean, the wave of which is song. It washes up emotion each time I come along. Space-time is like an ocean, the wave of which is song. It washes up emotion each time I come along.
Over time and over lives, song arrives, departs, evolves, fragments, distributes, converges. The same song, yet different.
Every time I awake, there's another step to take and another break to make with myself. Who am I? Over time and over lives. If the reason lacks the rhyme, who am I? Who am I? If I'm changing all the time. Every time I awake, there's another step to take and another break to make with myself. Who am I? Over time and over lives. If the reason lacks the rhyme, who am I? Who am I? If I'm changing all the time.
The voice you have heard is that of Aria, the name of the opera's protagonist. Aria is song, and the performers on stage are like her cells, co-constituting her through their work. Like the ribosomes in our cells that are at this very moment tirelessly reading our DNA to continually reproduce the appearance of our self-presence and stability, the performers read the libretto to continually reproduce the appearance of Aria's self-presence and stability. But modern genetics teaches us not to look at genes as isolated pieces of a strand of DNA to explain behaviour. Instead, genes must be understood as an inextricably entangled dance between chemical code and the environment, an ecology of behaviour. Similarly, a fragment of music, or any cultural pattern for that matter, which can be referred to as a meme in the study of cultural evolution, or a formula in the study of narrative tradition, any cultural pattern cannot be located in one instance alone. Where and when is Aria? Is she in the libretto? Is she in the present performance? Or is she an echo across performances? At once both ancient and young, close and far, small and vast, Aria is herself a kind of ecology of inherited patterns.
From within, search for me from within. From within, somewhere deep from within. Search for me from within, somewhere deep from within. But within is nothing without. But within is nothing without. From within, search for me from within. From within, somewhere deep from within. Search for me from within, somewhere deep from within. But within is nothing without. But within is nothing without. In the delay of the relay, race of meaning. In the delay of the relay, race of meaning.
Like Aria, we can think of a human being as an ecology of inherited patterns. Genetic, cultural, and environmental patterns resonate in concert with one another to produce behaviour at both the individual and communal level. How do we feel about this distributed view of the self? Here is a lovely passage in Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf that meditates on that very question. She said, sitting on the bus going up Shaftesbury Avenue, she felt herself everywhere. Not here, and she tapped the back of the seat, but everywhere. She waved her hand, going up Shaftesbury Avenue. She was all that. So that to know her, or anyone, one must seek out the people who completed them, even the places. Odd affinities she had with people she had never spoken to, some woman in the street, some man behind a counter, even trees or barns. It ended in a transcendental theory which, with her horror of death, allowed her to believe, or say that she believed, for all her scepticism, that since our apparitions, the part of us which appears, are so momentary compared with the other, the unseen part of us, which spreads wide, the unseen might survive, be recovered somehow, attached to this person or that, or even haunting certain places after death. Perhaps. Indeed, I think the distributed self calls for a new kind of spirituality, along with a new aesthetics, ethics, and politics of self and communality. Opera is a form that reaches across time and expands fleeting moments in its rolling, repetitive gestures. By insinuating herself into the spaces both within and beyond the performance, both within and beyond the here and now, my hope is that Aria will pose a question about the distributed self and facilitate the space to meditate on its implications for our everyday experience of being.